What is up everyone, Sean here, and welcome to a new series I'm kind of trying out here, and it's called The Rights and Wrongs. So basically, we're going to be covering the rights and wrongs of whatever subject we're going to be talking about. So in this case, we're going to be talking about the rights and wrongs for the Nintendo Switch here. Basically, I'm going to be pointing out the sort of the pros and cons of whatever subject we're talking about, but in this case, the Nintendo Switch here. And it's a little different from pros and cons, in my opinion, and it all depends on what we're talking about. And of course, it is opinion based. So sit back and hope you guys enjoy the show. The first thing they have right, the portability. I think it was genius for Nintendo to create a hybrid console. You can both please the mobile consumers, especially those in Japan, and also the console gamers strongly present here in the US. You also have options to play it with a stand up. You can play it while it's in your hands. And of course, you can dock it and play it on your TV. The game cards definitely help with its small footprint, instead of lugging around the CDs. Next thing they have right is the features. Near-field communication makes its return from the Wii U, so amiibos will be used for the Switch fortunately. The Nintendo Switch will offer charging via USB Type-C, which potentially means you can charge the console with power banks, which further emphasizes the portability. It has been confirmed that it will be able to use micro SD-XC cards up to 2 terabytes of memory. Although 2 terabytes is still not available on the market in the form of these micro SD cards. Next thing that's right, the price, for the console anyway. $299 USD was actually the price I expected and pretty much nailed it on the head. $249.99 would have been nice of course, but I just expected a higher price for it just to soften the blow. For a portable tablet that can play games at 720p with near console graphics that comes with all the accessories at the start, I take it. Next one up, traditional gaming. Traditional gaming has taken Nintendo's wheel once again. I'm very much glad that motion controls are not present in at least in the main games such as Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. With that, that'll make things easier for developers to make awesome games again for Nintendo without forcing any silly gimmicks. Next thing right, the game cards. Having these tiny game cartridges means possibly faster loading times and definitely not worrying about scratching like you do with CDs. As said before, their size complements the portability of the Switch. And speaking of game cards, let's talk about the games. We're getting the new Zelda's Breath of the Wild at launch, Super Mario Odyssey later in the holidays, Xenoblade 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the new Sonic game that's coming out in 2017, other than Sonic Mania, a new Fire Emblem game alongside the Fire Emblem Warriors game, Splatoon 2, not to mention other awesome titles such as Shin Megami Tensei, a brand new title, and even Yooka-Laylee, and also NBA 2K. Another thing right? The hardware. Being able to run games at 720p with console quality graphics nearly on a tablet screen. The design on the Joy-Cons are pretty cool considering how they actually incorporated the shoulder buttons in the railing of each controller, so you can still slide them into the tablet. You can add the Joy-Con straps to have them on your wrists, but not only that, but making pressing the shoulder buttons much easier. According to current CEO Tatsumi Kimishima, he confirmed that the Switch will have a wide array of accessories. Although this is very unlikely, a 3DS player will be really nice so I can record 3DS games easily from the Switch. But one more thing that's happening for sure with the Nintendo Switch is the region-free gaming. At last, taking region locking off the grid was another praise for the Nintendo Switch, opening the possibilities of playing games from certain regions such as Japan. If you don't mind a language barrier, you'll have an expanded library thanks to this. Now let's go into the wrongs of the Nintendo Switch. First up, the hardware. Some of the hardware holds the Switch back from being the console everyone's hyped about. The internal memory for the Switch is just 32 gigs, making the micro SD cards more of a priority than ever. The battery life is said to be around 6 hours. However, that varies with the games you're playing. Breath of the Wild lasts roughly 3 hours according to the official website. Hopefully the power banks can help that out. Let's not forget it's still behind the PS4 and the Xbox One in terms of power. And the screen might be too small for some people, and some may even expect for the Switch to even have a XL version sometime in the future. Next thing wrong, the online service. The Switch will be the first time for Nintendo to feature an online service where you actually have to pay for, starting in fall 2017. You'll have a free trial before then, once the Switch launches. The price is unknown at the moment, so we don't know how harsh of a blow that could be. But putting that aside, some of the online features are quite questionable. 1. You get a free game to download, but you only own that game for a month, making it a 1-month rental essentially, and it's not even a brand new game. You get a game that's either from the NES or the SNES library with newly added online play. They should have taken the Netflix approach, letting you access to over hundreds of classic games for a set price per month. That would have been a much more sensible way to go about this online service that we're paying for. When it comes to online chat, you're required to use your smartphone via downloaded app, rather than just letting you use a headset. You are better off using apps such as Discord if you want to game with friends and communicate online. The next thing wrong with the Switch is the price on the Joy-Cons, controllers, etc. While the initial price on the Switch appears to be modest, the controllers will actually eat up much of your budget. The Pro controller is $70. The Joy-Con controllers, left or right, will cost $50 each. So you're better paying off the pair set for the Joy-Cons, but that will cost you about $80. This can make the buyer question the console, especially if you lose the Joy-Cons. Even the Nintendo Switch dock itself will take a big bite out of your wallet. Next up, the motion controls. These controls were popular before the 2010s, with the Wii debuting around 2006. But many people have grown past motion controls and prefer traditional ways of gaming. With VR on the rise, motion controls remain relevant for certain games on the console, such as the 1-2 Switch and ARMS. Even though they're not the forefront for the main games, they are still around, much to many people's dismay. I certainly hope that motion controls remain relevant only for the party games. Speaking of 1-2 Switch and ARMS, some of these games are what's wrong with the Nintendo Switch. These games make the hardcore gamers question the system, especially with the former coming during launch and ARMS not too far from launch, having to come out during this spring. So this will cause early buyers to think this is just another toy, and hardcore gamers might try to shove it off once again like the Wii U. The last thing that's wrong with the Switch is the dry launch. One of the biggest flaws for the Switch as of right now is its very launch. The only worthy game during launch is Breath of the Wild. We're not even getting Netflix and other apps at launch, which would be perfect for a tablet like that, where you're taking it on the go, especially in an airplane with Wi-Fi. With really nothing else to buy, consumers and investors will likely question the console and possibly make developers hesitate on making their games for Nintendo once again, especially with third parties. With that being said, without a doubt, it has vast potential for some awesome games later on. Hopefully we'll get all the beloved Nintendo franchises such as Animal Crossing, Metroid, Star Fox, Smash, and so on. I myself will get it at launch and remain cautiously optimistic, but we have the possibility of having another Wii U on our hands if Nintendo doesn't pull through. So that'll be it for the rights and wrongs of the Nintendo Switch. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumbs up. If you have your own rights and wrongs for the Nintendo Switch, you can leave them down in the comment section below, and I'd love to check them out. If you also have suggestions of what I should talk about next, leave them down below as well, and I'll definitely check them out. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you know when videos pop up on my channel. Also, be sure to check out all the links in the description box below, including Loot Crate, my Amazon affiliate link, and all the social media stuff for you to check out. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Sean out.